Welcome
Welcome to
to
Shade
Shade
and
in
the
the City.
City. I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into our episode of, or I say our episode like we on a show, our recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 16, episode 14. And this is chapter 1, Reset. Okay. So if you guys have not already, please make sure you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And don't let me forget before we get off of here, because when I was editing the recap from the other two, and I realized I had smoke for Drew and she didn't get it. I ain't forgot about you, Drew. I had smoke for Drew and I never gave it to her last episode. So we're gonna get into it. But let's get into it, y'all. Let's get shady.
That's because you was busy giving it to Shamia.
That's right. I got she had me distracted. Oh, and Shamia gonna get it again too this episode. Let's get shady, y'all. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna bring it up, or I'm gonna start off the episode. Let's discuss, since this is Nels's man's and them. Let's discuss Phaedra's tagline. I'll read it, and I quote: "I returned from the dead. Now let's bury the past for good." Look, I need my clapboard. So, what do we think?
Pretty good, especially since she does funerals. I think that was pretty good.
Thank you. Oh, that?
Yes.
Oh my God, no.
Yes, I think that.
And you know what's so funny? Well, you know what?
The thing she said? She said people are
You know
dying
what?
to meet Jesus.
You're funny. I did kiki at that. But no, to your point, you just made me think about it. I wasn't thinking about that when I read that or when I heard it. And that's what made it catch my attention. I was like, let's have a discussion about it. When I thought
thinking that she does funerals?
No, I was thinking, oh, I came back from because they brought you back, and now let's bury that with Candy and act like it didn't happen, like I'm trying to do.
I think it's two. I think
it can be both. Two things can be true at the same time.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was that. It was a play on that and a play on that.
Well, very good point, Nels.
That's why I thought it was creative.
You stupid. So Shamia, she is packing up things to donate to the people of Grenada. She's trying to teach Shia the importance of giving back. And so we see Kelly pull up with her donations. And we see that Drew and Cynthia have already had their stuff dropped off. I didn't see nothing from Angela, even though she said she donated. Because she in debt with these houses. So
I think she definitely donated. Otherwise, they would have threw her under the bus just like they did Britt.
Well, what it was. So yeah, so they I can't stand this little girl. All right, so Britt ends up coming over there with a single box. Now, when you see the stuff, the boxes and the amount of stuff, I can understand where Shamia was coming from, where she was like, the people are coming to pick up the donations. That was a truck of some sort coming to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was no small, that's not something you pack up your car or even your SUV.
Did you see all the stuff Shamia had in her garage?
I know.
Yeah, just a lot of space. You needed a lot of space to.
So anyway, so Britt gets there with a box, and it literally, from what it looked like, we can only go off what it looked like. It had 3 rolls of toilet paper. I mean, at least it was good. It looked like Charmin. You know what I'm saying? A double roll. Okay, maybe Cottonelle.
Her own house.
She might have. So, but anyway, and so she said that the rest of the stuff is coming. So Shamia's like, well, baby, they're gonna be here in an hour. So what?
Let me tell you something. If I was Shamia, I'd have been like, you know what? I'll see if they can come to your house and pick it up since it's all packed and ready to go.
Okay. And then we see Britt in the confessional. She said, well, Shamia kind of told us about this last minute. So I just gathered up everything
Everybody
that I
else lied
can.
for the occasion. You ain't got no excuse.
Blame that on the event planner. So speaking of event planner, I wasn't even thinking about it till you
I
said
thought
it.
it was hilarious when Shamia looked in the box. She said the box is bare naked.
The box is bare naked. I get it, girl. So Britt tells them she is just so stressed out because hold on. I'm just so stressed out
I think
because
that's Angela.
that's giving no, I'm giving the nasal. I'm giving the nasal sound.
Oh, not the way it looks.
No, not the way it looks. If it
Okay.
that was Angela, how Shamia do it?
Angela's is like this.
How Shamia do it? She, but no, I'm giving you the Brit, the nasal. Okay, let me get back into character. Okay. So I'm so stressed out, guys, because the event planner. This is just not how I like things to go. This is how I do things. Even though I showed up with an empty box of donations,
It's
that is
definitely how
not how I move.
you just don't bring enough. You
Right.
just don't bring enough. This
Okay.
is exactly how you do things.
And so then she asked Shamia, she was like, so things got kind of hot and a lot of things were discussed. So she's like, where do things stand with Drew? And so Shamia basically said that, I'm really not here for this whole lapdog situation, even though you were barking like a dog and then I'm done, Shamia. I'm done. I'm gonna let you live because I have other things to get on you about. So fine. She's gonna ride on this narrative. Okay. And says she still don't see it for Drew, okay? And yeah, since Drew stood 10 toes down and said, yeah, no, I said what I said. So now Kelly is hopeful that all the ladies can reset once they're in Grenada. And Britt asks her, and then she goes back to ask Shamia, well, how are things with Portia? And so she just keeps it light and says, hey, we talked, we cried, hugged it out. I love when she said, now this is one thing I'm gonna give you. I just wish you could have realized this by talking to her first instead of talking to other people because you still continue to negate that. But anyway, I can appreciate her realizing, hey, our friendship is evolving. We're at different places in our lives and whatever the case may be. And if it's like it's gonna take some work. We got to put some work into it, basically. And I was like, I absolutely agree. And it could have worked. Had you been cool with the plan, you switched up. Portia was fine with how things were. You switched up.
Should have left it messed up, huh, Tree?
Right. You're the problem. You've been lapdogging this long. Go ahead,
Oh
girl.
my God. You're a mess. All right. So speaking of Portia, she went to go meet up with Drew, so they can get into a better space before this trip. Um, what's the girl name? Drew let Portia know that she did sign a deal with Dennis, and Portia said she's aware, but on the scale of things she got going on in her life, that's at a 2. Drew was ready to jump right in and said, we
It's
could have
so
had this
funny that
conversation.
she says that because okay, sorry, go ahead.
It's not
I'm
giving a 2. It ain't
huh?
giving a 2. It's not giving a 2.
It's not giving a 2 when you know all this girl business and you just running it off to her. It sounds like you're a little bit consumed with her and you stay up all day and night thinking about what she's doing and asking Dennis for tea on her. Really, that's what it's giving.
That might be what it is. That might be what
Mhm.
it is. So Drew was ready to jump right in. She said that we
And
could have
I
had this
don't know why,
conversation.
because Portia's a baddie. Like, not saying I think Drew is beautiful too, but Portia's a baddie. Like, why?
She
Like,
doesn't
the only difference is you can't sing. But other than
it
that,
because she's only been a baddie for a few years. Like,
oh, she's still in her newfound baddom.
yeah,
Okay.
she gotta get acclimated to it first. So she's still dealing with, the old trauma from when she wasn't a baddie.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so yeah, she's like, we could have had this conversation a long time ago. Portia said that we definitely could have, but I was upset and I don't communicate well when I'm upset. But she said, her filming with Dennis happened and said, a conversation with Dennis that she had a conversation with Dennis about, and they were just promoting the music. And he said that he wanted to clear his name, um, you know, about anything happening between the two of them. Drew said even hearing it makes her feel uncomfortable because it's so far from the truth. She said that you had a problem with me filming with Dennis, and we're here to clear that, but you also filmed with Ralph. And apparently, Angela let the cat out the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Portia said it wasn't a tit for tat thing, but it could possibly be triggering
And
her
I'm gonna be honest though.
because Drew was trying to trigger Portia as well.
I'm gonna say this. For the first time, I'm not even gonna say for the first time,
Mm.
but this particular episode, I said, okay, Portia, I see what you're saying. But then what bothered me so bad, I said, no, but then I gotta go back to Drew's corner because what she did with Ralph, they're not doing business. She really had no reason whatsoever. So it does seem like
It
get
probably
back.
wasn't tit for tat. Okay, and guess what though? It made you take accountability. It made you see my view. It made you understand where I was coming from.
I guess. Yeah, I
Sometimes,
guess.
sometimes you got to put people in your shoes because they can't see it for themselves.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so she said Dennis just wanted to clear it, make it clear that he is not the one, that she's got somebody else and some guy named Black that she's dating. Drew was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm saying he's just a friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She said that, she wouldn't jeopardize her future with her kids to start dating. I said, girl, I'm going through a divorce. And she said that she's not dating anybody right now because her divorce is messy. And Portia said, okay, I guess it's on the low. I said, all right, Portia.
And no shade,
I
I think
said,
that was
okay,
messy.
Portia.
I think that
Mhm.
was messy.
It was messy.
I don't know if you caught it. And I felt like it was messed up that they
Mhm.
bleeped out the name of whoever
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Portia was dealing with.
Mhm.
But Drew is absolutely, we know Ralph is toxic AF.
Mhm.
She is absolute, like, they are still not legally divorced.
Mhm.
He would absolutely bring that up in court and use that against her. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
was looking at Portia's, I was like, yo. And the one thing
It's not just
I'm
Portia. It's also editing because they could have definitely bleeped out his
no,
name
they could
too.
have done the same thing. But one thing I've noticed this particular season, and I feel like it's messed up, and you may tell me that I'm, whatever, because Drew and whatever, and I'm gonna get into that. But I feel like it's so messed up that literally most of the women, Shamia, Kelly, Phaedra, Portia, the only people really married are Angela and Britt. Cynthia's divorced, and I feel like Drew is out here on an island by herself while everybody else, Portia, I'm going through a divorce, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm going through a divorce, and but nobody's coming to come talk to Drew, come console Drew, check on Drew, see what she got going on. She got to live in the house with the man. But then, I'm sorry, Drew. Here come your tongue lashing. The reason why none of these girls support you is because they don't believe the bullshit. And when you do, like what we saw online the other day, which I meant to get in your behind about, and being up there calling Ralph daddy supposedly and all this other stuff, what it looks like is you're faking a divorce for a storyline. And if that's the case, guess who's gonna be more mad at you than me? I'm not pointing at myself.
Just the fact that he
But
wasn't
look,
in the
maybe I should
basement.
point this way.
Just the fact that he wasn't in the basement no more pissed me off. You
She,
complain about all the stuff, all the dirty stuff that you know what? You know what? No, you know what even aggravates me? She has
mm-hmm,
to be reminded of the messed up stuff that he did to her. Remember she was
mm-hmm.
telling her mom, I mean, that we co-parent well together. Her mom was like, girl,
But that's what's so crazy. She knows
so he's
that's what being with a narcissist is. That's what it does to you. But she knows that, and she continues to fall into it. And the fact that she's in therapy and all this other stuff. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how much money Drew got, but like I said, she need to go get her own little apartment for her own sanity and peace of mind, and get the hell out that house because she will never be able to. I'm gonna be honest with you, Drew. I was so disappointed to see that. And this is why I believe none of these girls are going up for you and supporting you, because they don't believe it. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, allegedly, I ain't watched nothing yet, but I do feel like I seen something come up on my YouTube feed about Ralph doing an interview about how basically how Drew set her storyline for the season. So look, and even after that, he still get on the internet and talk about you. I would never be caught. Oh, I just thought it was a cute family moment. Did you?
So Drew said, let's clear this up right now. I don't have a boyfriend and I'm not dating anybody. Then the waitress came and brought Drew some black tea, and Portia said, oh yeah, she definitely want her black tea. She know exactly what it tastes like. You're a messy, messy, messy ass. So Portia tried to push, who she's dating, and then Drew said, well, if you want to, if you want to go there and talk about who we dating, what about you dating Future?
Thank you. I was just getting ready to say she said Future. She
She said
absolutely
Future.
said Future.
I read both of their lips. She said Future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Portia says she's not dating him. She don't even know him. And I'm wondering, because I did think it was weird that they edited out his name, but not Black's name. And I'm wondering if it's because they don't have anything to connect Portia to Future. Remember, with Black, they had pictures.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
might
No,
be,
that's a
I
very
might
good
be
point, because
reaching.
I still don't understand why there was one loyalty to one
I
cast
did
member
think
and
that
not
was
to the
weird.
other.
I did think that was weird, but I was like, maybe they can't even, they don't want, maybe they
Or
don't want
I
no
was
problem.
thinking that Future made it, because the only reason I knew it was Future is because they said it in an earlier episode when she came at her and she said something to her, or they said, I think it in a preview. And then I don't know if his people or his camp got
Mhm.
wind of it. So by the time this made air, it was bleeped out.
Yeah, they probably didn't want no problems, and like I said, they didn't have any way to connect the
Right.
two. Um, so Portia said, let's be clear, it was never, about whether or not you were dating Dennis. And Drew said, let's be real, you're going through a divorce, so all the energy and smoke really wasn't for me. Portia said, hold on, because I don't want to argue with you. And this is where she lost me. Okay. Drew was like, girl, nobody's arguing. We're having a grown up conversation. So Portia was like, your whole vibe and energy is combative. Drew was like, and your whole vibe and energy has been combative.
Have we not realized that Portia can? I said
Oh,
this last week.
run away, girl.
No, but she can't have a conversation,
No,
even with her own supposed best friend. We've seen her do it with Lauren. We've seen her when that's her motive, like her thing. If
she
she
gives
can't control the conversation, then she has to run out the room crying.
she gives one of those like boyfriends that you sit down with and you're like, we need to talk, and they're like, oh, you want to argue. It's like,
Right.
we, we was having a conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, then Portia said, you know what, I'm gonna let you have it. And she got up to leave. And while Portia was leaving, Drew started talking about, I understand why Simon is leaving her and why Shamia want to leave. I said, girl, don't do that. Because you're going through
I
the
know.
same
That's
thing,
all. I
girl.
was like, come on, Drew.
I said, don't do that. Because look,
Not
girl, I was with you until you start
until
talking about the
you
same thing
got
you're
stupid.
going through. Because we
Look,
can talk about why Ralph is leaving you.
what do they
Because you're a
say?
big old
Don't
dummy.
don't get too big for your britches.
Not
So
don't
anyway,
get
we
too big for
see
your britches.
Kelly. She is at the house with her girls, and she lets them know that she's going on a girls trip. And so they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. How long? Who gonna watch us?" And she says, "Well, the big thing is I'm gonna miss your first day of school." And they're like, "Well, who's gonna take us to school?" So she says their uncle Lamont, which I guess I didn't really understand is
Yeah, he's like a friend, like
okay,
maybe
so
like
he's a
that
friend.
works with her and just kind of like a family friend.
Got it. So he agrees that he's downstairs. So he agrees that he's gonna take the kids to the school. And she lets him know that they got 3 different drop-offs starting at 7 a.m. I said, Lord Jesus. And I be
What's funny
thinking,
to me is she already signed him up before letting him know though.
right. That's something I would do though. That's the Pisces unite.
Oh my God.
That's what we do. So anyway, he then lets her know that he had talked to Mark. Apparently, I guess they were good at one point. And so he just wanted to kind of talk to him, and he said that unfortunately, when he talked to him, nothing has really changed. I guess he's still being stubborn and acting like he don't give a damn, and he don't want to take care of his kids. Is the narrative that I received from that. Did you get anything else? But that's what I got from that scene. And just Kelly is just upset that she has to be out here parenting these girls by herself. Well, we know the one. I think the one dad is in the Chloe's dad is still in her life, and I think she spends times with her grandparents, like on his side. Because remember, there was that one event that she wasn't there, and she was like, "Oh, Chloe's with her grandparents." So I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not saying that it's not hard, but I'm saying like I know it's rough, girl, but it. Do you have peace of mind? Would you rather do that than be with that man and deal with his craziness?
All the ladies arrive at the airport. Angela is excited to meet Phaedra, while Phaedra is shading the hell out of her, talking about how she's the oldest young woman she's ever met. And she said that she hopes her personality is more useful than her face. Um,
Well, Angela, I'm not saying Angela shaded her. She definitely did not give her what Phaedra gave her. But Angela absolutely did say, well, I'm gonna get to know her for myself and not go off of everything that I heard about her. And maybe that was just sweet and innocent, and maybe
see,
I'm
I
looking.
didn't think that was shade,
Okay,
especially
okay.
compared, especially compared to what
What
Phaedra
Phaedra
said.
said. No,
I
it,
did,
it it didn't even touch what Phaedra
no,
said. You're
I
right.
didn't think that was shade because I'm sure there's lots of things about Phaedra out here in these streets, and what she's saying is, I'm not gonna go off of that. I'm gonna get to know her myself. I thought that was actually kind of nice.
Okay.
So no, Phaedra, no. We know Phaedra is the queen of shade. So if that was shade, let me tell you something. Phaedra shade was way the hell up here, and you can't even see Angela's.
You stupid.
It ain't on the Richter scale. So then they arrive, and Shamia arrived without her bag. It is left in Atlanta, and this is why I don't like checking bags. I have a fear of that happening. Phaedra's on a sprinter, with a few of the ladies, and she asking who got beef. Okay, and they said it's Drew. Okay, so she said she don't know much about Drew besides the fact that she's a child actress. She's been in a lot of black movies, and say outside of these odd outfits, she gives a very
I know.
interesting. She gives a very interesting vibe. I just love the way she delivers the shade. I just love it.
I like the way she delivers it too, but I kind of felt like, so Phaedra, I feel like we are grown enough, and I understand that whatever, it's Southern or whatever, but okay, yes, I might make fun of the Tubi movies or the straight to whatever, but the fact that she said she's been in a lot of black movies,
Black
I was like,
movies.
well, so has Morris Chestnut. What that mean? So has freaking
We know.
Gabrielle Union.
We know that's
So
not
has freaking Nia Long.
we know that's not what she means because she
I
said
know,
she was
but that's why I have a
because
problem with it.
because because
Just say it's a two.
which
That's what I'm saying. I don't like the term. Just say Tubi movies. Just say
well no,
all
because you didn't
black.
want to shade Tubi.
No,
Because
but you met why? Because she need a job.
my thing is, okay,
Because
I
what's
think
worse is I can see Tyler Perry saying, "I'm like, oh, because I know how you feel about black
because
movies."
it don't even got to be Tubi. I think she's just saying like underground movies because for her to say I don't really know,
Even that would have
I,
been
I
a
think
better
she's saying
term
because
than
for her to say
saying
I don't really
black
know much
movie.
about her. Basically, you saying you don't really know her accolades, but she's
Right.
a child actress and she done some black movies. So I think really what she said was what she meant to say was like some underground movies.
I know what she meant to say, but she should have said what she meant to say and not what she said.
Well, we knew what she meant.
I know, but for the people, that is a terrible generalization. So low
I don't know why
budget
you
go
she
below
saying
budget
it
go.
because we
No,
on
no,
here,
no.
y'all.
Think
Because
about it.
we
Think
be
about it. So
black people say black movies. Okay, she's
low
saying that
budget
because we
is
on here.
equivalent to black.
Are you trying to be politically correct, Trace?
No, I'm just saying low budget is equivalent to black because
When we
this is
say
not
when we
this
say
is
when we say black movies, when we say black movies, yes, we're talking about underground movies, like them little low budget movies. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. I don't know why you acting funny right now. Drew said her and Shamia have a thing, and said that she did an interview talking about how she was lying about speaking 5 different languages, and she said, "Girl, I wasn't talking about ebonics. I was talking about love languages, like Trace confirmed last week."
right.
Um,
I know mine.
yeah.
Do you know yours?
So they get to the hotel, and let me tell you something. Grenada is giving. Maybe this is where the birthday trip need to be. because
I was thinking about that, but I wonder what the flight looked like.
I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
I think total flight time, right? Like
See,
in
already
air
that's the reason why
time.
you didn't say nothing yet. But go ahead.
In air time might be 5 to 6 hours. Because I saw a flight that said 7 hours, but it has like an hour and a half layover. So in air time is
We ain't
not that
got no direct
much.
flights.
No, I ain't seen no direct flights, Child. No, I would have loved direct flight, but no, I ain't seen that. So they get to their hotel and oh, okay, no. So the host let them know that they'll be rooming together. They're gonna have a little room partner. So it'll be Britt and Phaedra, Portia and Angela, Cynthia and Drew. And I thought it was cute that they had to, like, take a shot, and I guess whoever took the shot first, they had the number
Mm-hmm.
on the room. And I thought that was a cute little idea so that they can choose what room that they had. And
And
unfortunately,
I just like the fact. I'm gonna be honest. I like it was even though they say, "Oh, we want you to be with somebody that you don't normally." They still. I'm gonna be honest. They still did better than like I feel like Potomac when they
yeah.
go to pick rooms. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it literally was still like Cynthia, Drew. They both. You know what I mean? You could see
Hmm.
they had a vibe. Like Angela,
Although,
Portia
although
have
I thought
come
I thought about that at first, but then after Kelly's uh comment at dinner, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's why she picked Cynthia and Drew
because I guess she felt like nobody else. And we're gonna get
is
into. I
beefing with
love
her. Yeah.
Kelly, but we're gonna get into her little ass because she need to learn when to shut up. Sometimes nobody's asking you.
Oh my goodness.
But I understand, baby. It's the Pisces in you. Your mouth just run and you don't know how to cut it off.
So Kelly asked Shamia how she's feeling. She said that she's good, but she is uncomfortable with, I guess she found out that Drew tagged her in a comment that she made on social media talking about how you need to watch out for people that do interviews and create imaginary beef. Kelly feels like they should talk about it, and she feels like they shouldn't. Okay, they ain't really got nothing to talk about. Instead, if she really wanted to, she said that she
You
could have
said
gave her
when
the
it's
bad
up,
room,
it's stuck.
but she said I could have gave her the bad room, but God was looking out for her today. Okay. Then Drew and Cynthia went to check out their room, and before seeing the beds, Drew offered up the.
I said that's so sweet.
That was really sweet of her because she actually won that room. They did an arm wrestling match. She
But
decided
you
she
know
was
what
going
it
to take
gives
the twin
when
beds.
she said later in the episode when she told Cynthia that she was a tourist, I said I can see that because Candy would have done that.
Mm,
I can see Candy giving, especially for somebody like older than her, like Cynthia. Yeah, I could
mhm.
see her falling back and be like, "Nah, don't worry about it, girl. I'm good." Like, and just making the best of it.
Yeah, she was just kind of like she was like, you know what? You
I
basically. I
don't think
mean,
I
yeah,
knew Drew was a tourist. I was surprised to learn that.
basically Drew was like, you know what? It's not a big deal to her. She ain't going to dwell on it. She is in Grenada. I mean, like Tree said that she mentioned that she was a tourist because Cynthia asked her, and Cynthia was surprised to find out because she's like, oh, my new boo, Amsterdam is a tourist. Okay, so
Can I
Cynthia
tell you,
asked
I
her,
love to see Cynthia. She's like, girl, he is young. He is full of,
and
everything.
effing up got me every
Okay.
day, all day. Okay, um, and Cynthia I think Cynthia almost kind of blew up the spot by accident. She asked if she was dating. She said, "Okay, yeah, you are, right?" Look, she was like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not dating. I'm meeting people." Okay.
Right. I'm like, did nobody give the word around but I guess because nobody's, I guess, messing with her like that or talking to her like that. No. Because I'm like, where is your real friend on the cat? Well, I guess Angela, she's not bringing it up. But yeah, where is the person to be like, no, y'all, like, y'all know, like to talk sense to, even if you don't like her,
Hmm.
everyone at that table from Phaedra to, like I said, Portia. I don't know Angela's situation if she was divorced. Shamia, everyone should understand why she does not want that to be blurted out on TV.
And to Teresa's point, she brings up Ralph.
Right.
Okay. She lets her know that she sat down with Portia and she found out right before the sit down that Portia was filming with Ralph and she's feeling like it might have been out of
Oh,
spite. Well, in a confessional, Cynthia said, it sounds like we can call it even. And I agree.
I agree. We should be done, though. All right. So then all the ladies go to dinner. I guess Shamia luckily had something in her little bag,
Her
her little
carry
carry-on.
on. Yes, the
So
carry on, the handy dandy carry on.
you're so funny. So they go, so Phaedra is talking about how well her funeral business is going. She said everyone is dying to meet Jesus.
I, I
They
thought
get
that
to
was
dinner.
so funny.
They get to dinner. Angela mentions that it's her like eighth wedding anniversary, even though I thought they were married for 10 years, but that ain't my business.
Maybe they were
So
together for 10.
it could be. I just felt like she said they were married for 10, but
Mm, I mean,
maybe
maybe.
by the time it came on, maybe this was filmed to no, this was just filmed because they haven't even filmed reunion yet. And speaking of that, oh damn, I forgot. I had it in my phone. We'll talk about it on our sip and shade, but they did put out the reunion chart for Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I found it very interesting that Shamia and Portia both have first chair.
Mm.
So then you know what they say. Usually the first chair is the two first chairs. That's the dominant whoever ran the season. So I was like, not y'all pitting them against each other. So Portia laughs because she's like, why are you here with a bunch of divorcees on your anniversary? And then Kelly tells all the ladies that, hey, I want to do
I
a
ain't gonna lie.
reason.
I would have felt like that was a bad omen.
I would have too. And then when she called him and he's like, I'm not, I ain't thinking about you.
She was like, "This is our first anniversary. We're not together." He said, "Okay."
He said, he said, I'm probably finally enjoying one. So yeah, anyway, so Kelly tells the lady she wants them to reset and puts Drew and Shamia on the spot. So Shamia explains to Drew that she, her calling her lapdog, she ain't really feeling that. And said, yeah, you call me a lapdog. There ain't nothing fake about this beef. I really don't see it for you. And so Drew brings up, yeah, but I did that because you went and put 20 on 10 and ran back to Portia and tried to make it sound like I said
A
something that I
negative,
did.
like it was something negative.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Shamil, oh, of course, I'm going to run back and tell my friend when you saying something about that's what I'm supposed to do. And I said, calm down,
I might
Peppy.
have mentioned it, but I don't think I would have said it like it was a negative thing.
What?
Like I might have mentioned it because your name was brought up,
Right.
or like, or not your name, but like, your child was brought up. Like, oh yeah, girl. Like she was like, oh, it's a blessing or whatever. This will pay for Pilar's college, right? But I don't think I would have said it like it was a negative thing. I didn't, even when we watched it, I was like, what's wrong with what she said?
Right. Again, calm down, Shishi. Calm down, Shishi. Go sit. Go sit. Okay.
No, she didn't.
She want to be a dog and bark.
Oh my God,
I
Jade.
would never let a woman get me so out of my that I understand we are on a television show and Shamia clearly does not mind making a whole ass of herself, and that is fine. But that wasn't even like good TV. It was really like, girl, you wanted a moment real
I
bad.
did like when she said in dog years or human years.
Used to be. And again, she could have said that and not barked, and I would
Yeah.
have been fine. So anyway, so then Portia questions, so then I love when Phaedra was like, well, hold on, did y'all really think that if y'all said something to
That it was going to be
about
an intimate
Portia,
conversation
right, that
about her best
Shamia
friend.
wasn't gonna go tell her? Because obviously they
I
got what
said,
they got.
come through Portia. I mean, come through Phaedra. I said, Portia, come through
And
Phaedra.
it goes on to how their friendship and whether Portia is a good friend or not. Does she believe she's a good friend to some Shamia?
Hmm.
And then it gets kind of like quiet, and Portia was like, we had a conversation and basically we're good.
Like, let's move
And
on.
but they're like, no, but you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, because she was like, yeah, but you told us if we have a question to ask you. She said, yeah, that was prior to the conversation I had with Shamia. And we had the conversation. Moving along.
And
Okay.
Shamia was happy with it. And I was like, okay, if that's how y'all moving, I get what I think I would have still said I'm a good friend. I mean, I don't get if we've decided that I'm still a good friend, I'm damn sure gonna tell everybody else I'm
I
still that
think
bitch.
I think that Portia didn't want to defend herself to them
I
because
get what you're saying.
then they would have brought up all the things that she would have had to rehash. Oh, but why would you do this? And if that's the case, then why do you know what I'm saying? And that's why she's just like, we discussed it, we moved on from it. But if she would have tried to defend herself in that moment, she would have continued to try to defend herself.
Okay, I guess you make points. So, what else do I have? Because this is when I stopped listening, because this is when they do that back and forth banner that I can't keep up with. But then yeah, then Kelly targets Drew at this point and says that she feels there's an issue with everyone, that she feels Drew has an issue with everyone there but Cynthia. So Shamia and Drew have, they did their thing. Oh, so then she opens up the door for Portia to say her piece, right? And then they go into the whole Future and Black thing again, just in front
Mhm.
of other girls. I don't think anything new was said that I need to
No,
repeat.
it wasn't.
Right. But at a certain point, there was a point between Portia and Drew's exchange where Portia takes accountability. I kind of came at you wrong at Shamia's event or Shamia's birthday. That set the chain of events, right?
Mhm.
Us back and forth and whatever. And I could have handled it better. Drew says, well, you know what? Thank you for taking accountability. And I can admit I could have texted you and told you about the dentist thing, or there could have been a way I handled it better. And so I
Mhm.
was like, okay, we ain't besties, but we back to a better place. And
Mhm.
so they decide to move on. And that's all I really got. Did you get anything else?
Um,
I felt like they ended the night at that point. Or
oh,
no, did they
and
ask another question?
Britt decided
Oh
that
yeah, that's why I didn't get it, because I didn't care. Go ahead.
yeah, Britt decided to speak and says, since we're talking about ex-husbands and baby daddies, I want, Phaedra, I just want to let you know that Apollo and his wife were invited to my event through my husband. But, I don't know Apollo and it's no malicious intent. Phaedra was like, girl, okay, we ain't got no
That's
problems.
fine. She
Like,
was like, that's not my husband. I don't give a
she's like,
damn.
that ain't my husband. So
She said,
I'm
long
so
ago
far removed from that. Okay.
and so far. She said, that was long ago,
You
motherfucker.
are
Okay. Go away from me with this, Apollo. Okay.
good.
That's when Phaedra had a whole nother face. Y'all better stop playing. But thank you guys so much
Yes,
for
thank you, thank
tuning in
you.
to this recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button.
Make sure you comment
Make sure that you guys subscribe.
and you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, Blue Sky, IG, and the Facebook. And yeah, we will catch you next week for another rewind. Well, not even rewind, recap. What I don't know what it was, a reset, release, and
I don't remember, child. I don't remember what
you
the
don't
hell she
remember. Well, we'll find out next week. Anyway, y'all have a great rest of
was
your
the
week.
second one,
Right.
huh?
Bye bye.